The coat had a small tear near the left pocket, right at the seam. I'd noticed it that morning when I pulled it from the closet, and I remember thinking I should probably get it fixed. But it was Christmas Day, I was already running late, and, truthfully, I didn't much care. I should have cared more. Because Renee noticed it the second I walked through the door. She was standing by the kitchen island, holding a glass of white wine, talking to her sister. And when she saw me, when her eyes traveled from my boots up to that coat, I watched her face do something I'll never forget. Her lips pressed together. Her eyes cut sideways to her sister. And then she laughed. Not a quiet laugh. Not a polite little exhale. She laughed the way people laugh when they see something they genuinely find pitiful. "He can't even dress himself," she said. Low, but not low enough. My son Marcus was across the room. He either didn't hear it or he chose not to. My grandchildren were already running toward me, arms open, and I let them pull me into the living room. I folded my coat over the back of a chair. I sat down. I had dinner with my family, and I didn't say a single word about what I had heard. That was a Thursday. By the following Monday, I had made a phone call that would change the shape of everything Renee thought she had coming to her. My name is Gerald Holt. I'm 68 years old. I spent 37 years working as a civil engineer, and in between the work and the long hours and the years that have a way of blurring together, I made some careful decisions. I bought land when land was cheap. I paid off debt fast and reinvested faster. I lived below my means not because I had to, but because I learned early that the man who looks rich rarely is, and the man who looks like nothing is often sitting on more than anyone suspects. My wife Carol understood that. She and I were cut from the same cloth, people who found more joy in a paid-off deed than in a new car. When she passed 6 years ago, I grieved in the quiet way I do everything. I kept going. I kept building. I kept living in the same small house we'd bought in 1987, driving the same pickup truck I'd had for 14 years, wearing the same coats I'd owned for a decade. Not because I couldn't afford otherwise. Because it suited me. Renee came into Marcus's life about 8 years ago. She was sharp, ambitious, and she had made up her mind about me within the first 30 minutes of our first meeting. I watched her eyes scan the truck when Marcus pulled up. I watched her look around my kitchen and find it lacking. She was polite enough on the surface, but there's a particular kind of dismissal that doesn't need words. You can feel it in how long someone holds eye contact, in how quickly they turn away. Over the years, she stopped pretending entirely. She pushed Marcus to stop coming to Sunday dinners. She complained when the grandchildren spent weekends at my house. She called my neighborhood depressing. She once told my daughter-in-law's mother, at a birthday party I wasn't supposed to overhear, that Marcus would inherit whatever the old man has left, which honestly won't be much. I heard that one too. I had my attorney, Dave Kellerman, revise several documents over the years as my circumstances changed. What existed on that Christmas day, the day of the torn coat, was a will and a series of trust arrangements that had been carefully constructed over 2 decades. Marcus had always been central to it. So had my grandchildren. After that Christmas dinner, I called Dave on Monday morning and I said, "I need you to make some changes. I won't pretend it was easy. Marcus is my son. I love him. But love and accountability are not opposites, and a man who watches his wife treat his father like a burden, who says nothing, does nothing year after year, has made a choice." I had to respond to the choice he made. I restructured everything. The bulk of my estate, the land holdings, the accounts, the investment portfolio, went into a trust controlled by my 2 grandchildren, Lily and James, accessible when they each turned 25. The conditions were specific and ironclad. Dave made sure of that. Marcus received the house. Just the house. Renee received nothing that she could touch, transfer, or leverage. And I left a single letter, sealed, to be read aloud in the room before the will was opened. Dave called everyone in on a Tuesday afternoon. 14 months later, I'd passed from a heart issue that had been tracking for 2 years. I'd known the timeline, which is part of why I'd moved when I did. I'm told Renee arrived at that conference room in a new coat. Expensive. She sat close to the table. She had a notepad. Dave read my letter first. I'd written it plainly. I said that I had spent my life building something in silence, and that silence had allowed me to see people clearly, to see how they behaved when they thought nothing was watching and nothing was at stake. I said I bore no anger, only clarity. And I said that what I'd built would go to those who had shown me, in small and daily ways, that they understood what it cost. Then he opened the will. I'm told the room was very quiet. I'm told Renee asked Dave to read the relevant section twice. I'm told she didn't laugh. Lily called it unfair when she was older and learned the full story. She came around. James never doubted it for a second. He said it sounded exactly like something I would do. He was right. I wore that torn coat my whole life, not the literal one, but the version of myself that the world decided wasn't worth taking seriously. And I let people make their assumptions. I let them write me off. Because I had learned something Carol taught me in the very first year of our marriage. She said, "Gerald, the most powerful thing a person can be is underestimated by someone who thinks they've already won." She was right about most things. And she was never more right than that.